Hello folks, I'm Dean with Dean's Woodworking. Welcome to the shop. Y'all come on in and make yourself comfortable. Tonight we're going to make a jig of sorts. You see, I did a hollow form and now I need to take the foot off of it. So we're going to do what we'll call a jam chuck for a hollow form. Just to let you guys know, this is the hollow form. I did the finishing on the lathe, which normally I don't do that, but I wanted to try it this time. So you see it's still in the chuck. We need to take the foot off. Let's go ahead and make us a jam chuck to do that. The plans here take a couple of steps, but we're going to start off with a 2x2 or a 1.5 by 1.5, I guess, between centers. Let me show you. So we've got this piece of pine here. It's 1.5 square and it's about 7 inches long. First thing we're going to do is make one end round, and let me show you what we're going to do here. So we'll come in with our skew chisel, we'll back off here about 1 inch, and we'll just make a V cut. And then we're just going to do some peeling cuts here. Some of you have seen this tool. It's a 3/4 inch wrench that we sharpened one edge on to make a tool for turning a 3/4 inch tenon. So you need to back your tool rest off a little bit, leave room in here for this, and we're going to pull this in. We're going to push, we're going to touch this lip on the bottom, and then we're going to push this in, and that will give us a 3/4 inch tenon. Okay, let's go ahead and do that now. Again, push it in. We're touching on the bottom. We now have a 3/4 inch tenon. Now it's a little rough there. This pine is really soft wood, so you don't really expect it to cut real great. We're going to take an opportunity to take the edges off of this just a little bit. Again, we don't need it necessarily round. We just want to take the edges off. And bear in mind that the mouth of our hollow form is about 1.5 inches. Okay, now that we've got that done, we've gone ahead and put the chuck back on the lathe. I've got a piece of oak in the chuck, so let's keep going, okay? And what we're going to do now is we're going to drill a 3/4 inch hole into this piece of oak here. And we're going to fit that right there into our piece of oak. You guys starting to get the picture? Okay, now that we've got that done, this is going to press against the bottom of the hollow form. We want to make this to where it's roughly the size of the opening. So we'll go ahead and start and we're going to go back about like so. Okay folks, this is the size of the mouth on the hollow form. So we need to get this where the mouth of the hollow form will slip right up over it. Notice this is still a little too big. So we're going to go ahead and bring all that down a little bit. One of the things we'll do is we'll come in here and flatten that off. We're going to check here and make sure that we've got plenty of room on this part, and we do. Again, we're going to check our measurements. We're there We can get that in, but we can't get this in. Okay, so we need to bring that down just a little bit more. And we'll keep going till we get just this on this very end where it's the size we want. Again, we want to get that as close as we can get it. We don't want it too tight because we're not going to force it on there. So let's go ahead and we'll bring the rest of this on down. Okay, so we've got our hollow form out of the chuck, and now we need to see how it's going to fit on our jam chuck. Let's take a look. All right, what we'll do is we'll slide this up on here, and we'll notice it doesn't quite come up to the portion that's the yoke. Okay, so we did that intentionally. I wanted to leave just a little bit of room to trim that. We want it to come up another 3/4 of an inch. So we'll take about 3/4 of an inch off of this back here. So let's go in and we'll just do some peeling cuts. Get rid of some wood real quick. Now one of the things we're going to do too is just round this over just a little bit. I want this fairly flat here. We're through there. We're going to go ahead and run this back up. I want to keep that dimple there in the middle. That way we've always got a center we can go back to. Now one of the things is I've got an old mouse pad here, and we're going to take and use double-sided tape to stick this mouse pad to the end of this. Why are we going to do that? It's going to add a little bit of grip and a little bit of cushion. We could possibly need both. So with that, we're just going to take a pair of scissors and knock us out a little piece of this mouse pad. Enough to cover that end. How are we going to attach that? We've got some of this double-sided tape. If you guys have never used double-sided tape in your turnings before, this blue stuff called Sure Tape. I have used it quite a bit, and I've never had a problem with it turning loose. The only problem I've ever had with it is pulling it loose. If you want something that sticks good, Sure Tape. I'll see if I can find a link to it to put it down in the description. By the way, if you folks would like to help support the channel, and I know a lot of you do, really appreciate it if you take a few minutes to go down and look at the description. There's things there that I use that may help you, and it does benefit the channel. So we've got our cushion there. That will help to drive that hollow form. we're going to have to trim that off just a little bit there. I was afraid we would, but I wasn't certain. Probably a good lesson for you guys anyway to see. You can take your skew and just slide it right down that, and it will cut right through that like butter. I'm going to come back and take the tape off too. We are now ready to slide this right up on there. And at this point, we'll bring the tailstock up. Notice where the top is. We've got the tailstock brought up. We left our center mark, put just a little bit of pressure on that, not much, but this is basically caught there so it can't move around. Our tailstock's pushing up. We can turn this off with ease, finish the bottom to where all we have is just a small piece that we can sand away. That lets you folks see exactly what we've got on the bottom. We can come in, turn this away real simple. Again, you got very little, if any, play up here. The tailstock's holding the bottom against this. We have the mouse pad to grip. So even if you try, it's kind of hard to twist that on there. So we got a good solid drive. Folks, I just wanted to do this just in case some of you do a hollow form and you don't have a chucking method to turn that bottom off. And there are commercially available items to do that. And there's some pretty elaborate rigs where you pull a bar and you turn a cone and the cone slides on the bar. And yes, I have one of those. It's over in storage, and honestly, I just didn't want to go get it. But I happen to think a lot of you folks may not have one. And if you turn a hollow form, that's just one more tool you have to go buy. Well, not necessarily. You can make these, and even if your commercially available one is not exactly what you want, it's too long, too short, too big, too small, whatever, you can make one of these in just a few moments. And again, they work fantastic, and you'll be able to see this in use on the video of the hollow form with me turning the foot off of it. Folks, thank you so much. Appreciate you watching. Remember to give me a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. Stay safe, stay healthy, and happy turning.